Okay guys, today we are going to grade 9. Today we are going to grade 9. I've chosen this question. I've chosen it from the previous question paper from grade 9, right? It was from Gauteng 2019 final November question paper for grade 9, right? So let's look at this question. The first question, here we are solving for x, right? Here we are solving for x. So let's start with our first question there, right? Let's start with our first question there, which says okay, so let me just write it down. It's 4.1.1, right? It says what? It says 2x plus 2 minus x minus 3 equals 5, right? So with this one, it's a linear equation because I can see that I'm not going to multiply any x and get an x squared or something like that, right? So it's a linear equation. So with linear equation, obviously, I'm going to group my x on the other side and then my number on the other side. If I need to divide, I will divide. If I need to multiply, I'll multiply, right? So let's start. So I'll start by multiplying this binomial by monomial, which is on the video for algebra, which I've uploaded, right? So it's going to be 2x, that's going to be plus 4, and then minus x plus 3 equals 5, right? So what do I have on the left hand side? I've got 2x minus x, and then on the which is going to give me what? Which is going to give me 2x minus x, going to be x, right? So on the other side, I'm going to have 5, and then this 4, when I take it to the other side, is going to be minus 4, and then this 3, when I take it to the other side, is going to also be minus 3, right? So my x will be what? 4 minus 5 minus 4, which is 1, minus 3, which is negative 2. So my x there is negative 2. We are done with the first question. Let's quickly go to the second one, right? 4.1.2. So with this one, I'm going to remind you of something. Remember, if you are multiplying fractions, you need to understand their prime factorization, right? You have to understand the factors of the denominators, right? Every denominator, you have to understand its factors, right? Like for example, if we were to add 2 over 9 plus 1 over 3, right? So for us to add this successfully, we need to understand that the denominators can have factors. We have to understand it in the form of factors. So obviously 9 is the same as what? 9 is the same as 3 to the power of, okay, prime factors of 9 is going to be 3 squared, right? And then 3 doesn't have a factor, it's a prime number, right? So we know that I've got 3 and I've got 3 squared there. So after that, I see which number is going to be my LCD. LCD, remember what is LCD? LCD is the lowest common denominator coming from the lowest common multiple, right? It's the lowest common multiple of 3 and 9, right? So the lowest common multiple of 3 and 9, obviously I've got only 3 there. It's going to be to the power of 2. And 3 to the power of 2, I know that is 9, right? So the LCD here is going to be 9. And then I would say 9 goes how many, this 9 goes how many times into this one? It goes once, right? And then 1 multiplied by 2 is going to be 2 multiplied by 1. And then I come to the second part, I take this plus as it is. I ask myself, how many times does 3 go into 9? It goes 3 times, and then I will have my 1 multiplied by 3. So the final answer of this is going to be 2 plus 3, which is 5. So the final answer is going to be 5 over 9. I hope that's straightforward, right? I hope that's very straightforward how we add the fractions, right? So that is exactly what we're going to do with our expressions there, right? Okay, first of all, the denominator on the right, I can see that, okay, the denominator on the right, I can have a factors of it, right? So I'm going to write it in form of factors. So I've got 2x over x plus 1, and then I've got plus 2x over 1 minus x. And then on the other side, I will have what? I will have equals to, and then I will have 1 over, okay, let me copy it as it is x squared minus 1. So after that, let me rewrite it. It's going to be 2x over x plus 1 plus 2x over 1 minus x, and then equals to this side. I can see I've got the difference of 2 squares, right? Like I told you, factorization is very important, right? So since I've got a difference of 2 squares, I know I'm going to factorize, and my factors are going to be the square of x and the square root of 1, right? So it's going to be minus 1, and the other is going to be 1x plus 1, all right? So there we are. So now what do we do? Now we check, is this, let's check the denominators, right? Let's firstly relate them, okay? X plus 1 and x plus 1, I'm good. Then this one is the problem because it's 1 minus x. It's not x minus 1. So we've got a challenge that we have to deal with there, right? That's the only challenge that we have to deal with, right? Remember, this one is fine with this one, so I don't want to go and play with it, right? Because already it's good, right? It's a factor in one of my three expressions, right? So it means here, can I make this one look like this one? Yes, if I start with an x and factor out 1, like for example, remember it's what? Is 1 minus x, right? Remember, can be written as negative x plus 1, right? And then after that, if I take out the common factor of negative 1, it's going to be negative into x minus 1. So now I know that this one can be written in this form, right? I know that that one can be written in this form, right? So they will mark it for me for just changing that one. Remember, they will mark it for me for just changing it in that case, right? Okay, I know that is the same as what. Okay, let me rewrite everything again. Let me just write everything and then change the one that I want to change so that it will be helpful, right? It will be easier for me to simplify, right? So it's going to be what? It's going to be 2x over x plus 1, and then I've got a plus 2x over negative into x minus 1, all right? And then equals to 1 over x minus 1 and then x plus 1, all right? So there we are. We've got our factors on the denominator. So what is the LCD? LCD is the number that all of these can go. This one can go to, this one can go to, and this one can go to, right? So you can see that this one goes to this one, sorry, this one goes to that one, and then this one also goes to this one, which means that already this one also goes to itself, right? So there it is. Now I can see that I've got my LCD, right? I can see that I've got my LCD. What's going to be my LCD? Is going to be x minus 1 and what? X plus 1. That's going to be my LCD, right? That's going to be my LCD. So sorry for writing that long division there, because I'm just going to multiply both sides. Let me use a red. Remember, you're going to use the same color. I'm just using a red because I'm helping you out here, right? So I'm going to multiply it with what? With x minus 1 and then x plus 1, all right, over 1. And then on the other side again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to multiply it with x minus 1, x plus 1 over 1, all right? So I've multiplied with the LCD, right? I've multiplied the left hand side with the LCD and the right hand side with the LCD also, right? So now I know that I will need to multiply this factor with this one, right? And then again it will come and multiply this side, right? And then again this side it will multiply this one thing here, right? So there we are. So I know that if I can multiply them, I can even take them inside and not cancel, but some will decide to cancel here. But let me show you how I'm expecting you to do this so that you know what you're doing, right? So it's going to be the numerator multiplied by the numerator. So it's going to be 2x multiplied by x minus 1 and then x plus 1 and then all over x plus 1. And then on the other side, it's going to be what? It's going to be plus 2x multiplied by x plus 1 and then x minus 1, all right? Okay, I started with a minus and the other side I started with a plus. It's a mistake, right? But it doesn't hurt anyone, right? Okay, minus 1 into x plus 1, right, all over negative into x minus 1. And then on the other side it's going to be what? It's going to be x plus 1, x minus 1 and x plus 1, all right, all over x minus 1 and x plus 1, all right? So there we are. So now what do? We cancel, right? So this one will cancel with this one. It's the same thing. This one will cancel with this one. It's the same thing. So on the right hand side I can see that I'm left with 1, right? And then on the left hand side this one will cancel this one, right? And then this one will cancel with this one, right? So I'm left with 2x into, okay, let me just write them again, 2x into x minus 1, all right? And then this one here, because we've got a negative, you can just take the negative upside because it's just negative 1, right? So instead of a minus, instead of a plus, it's going to change to be a minus, right, because of this negative there, right? It's going to be minus 2x into x plus 1. All right, so there we are. Now we can easily solve for our x. Let's see how can we solve for our x. We can easily take it inside, so it's going to be 2x squared minus 2x minus 2x squared, and then this one and this one is going to be minus 2x is equals to 1. Right, so there we are. Now we can easily just take the okay, this one and this one, the other is positive, the other is negative. Obviously they will have to go, right? And then now we've got negative 4x equals to 1, right? And then now we can easily divide by 4 both sides to get our, by negative 4, remember, to get our x is equals to negative 1 over 4. So there we are. That's our final answer. I hope this video helps you to understand some concept that was confusing you. Let's see each other on the next video. Sharp, sharp.